What we do here is go back.
Hey everyone, Stephen Jensen and Jessi Davin here to talk some WWE Elimination Chamber. And it's going to be a pretty quick show today. Me and Jessi had to reschedule a couple times to make this happen, but we wanted to make sure to get something out there for y'all today. So it'll be a pretty quick show. If you want your questions answered and you want your statements read, this would definitely be the right show to send super chats or donations. Donation link is in the description below. That way we'll make sure, no matter what, we'll get to all of your questions. But we might not be able to be quite as interactive as we normally are with the non-super chats just because it's going to be a quicker show today. But that being said, Jessi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Ignore my husband in the
I
background.
didn't even see him. Now I do. I see like the shadow back there.
Oh no, here comes the baby. Oh my gosh. You got her. She's here. She's hold on. Come here. Come here. Come here. She's got pants wrapped around her. Say hi.
Oh, there you go. Look
Hi.
at that.
Oh no, you're blurry.
She looks so much like
Say
Scarlett.
hi. Doesn't she?
It's amazing.
Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Hi.
Say wrestling.
Yes. Okay.
That'd be great. Would you be offended or proud if she said wrestling before she said mommy?
Well, she already says mama.
Oh,
so.
okay. I feel like I think my first word was daddy. I think.
Yeah, because you know why? The D sound is easier. Duh.
Yeah,
it's easier than
that's
ma.
true. I never thought about that. That's very true.
You learn stuff like that when you become a mom. It's weird.
Well, as I was saying about the super chats, we did have one from Deshaun before we got started.
Thank you, Deshaun.
So thank you very much to Sean Turner. He said, "Hey Stephen, hey Jessi, how you doing, beautiful?" I'm assuming he is talking to you. Can we talk about why Rollins and Styles were treated like losers at Elimination Chamber? Jessi, yeah.
I missed that one. I missed it.
So basically, so the way that WWE's presenting this, and I've been saying it for a while, but it's just kind of is what it is. When Brock Lesnar's involved, it's him and then everyone else. So like, and that's how it was treated. Like, even though this was a title match, this was another match where Brock wasn't the
oh, duh. Yeah.
in the Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty much focused on and Bobby Lashley and that.
Yeah. So like, like Brock came out last for his entrance, which like normally the champion would, and this is multiple times where like Brock isn't the champion, he comes out last, like he's treated like the main star. When he got into the actual chamber, like into the actual match, like when he broke through his pod and like entered the match, he just destroyed everybody. Like it was just
that F5 spot to Austin Theory was the coolest part.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I like that. I mean, I like watching Brock just like throw people around, but
can we like just appreciate babyface Brock Lesnar too? Like,
yeah,
dude, he was a star last night. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah, and I watched. I did watch Raw on Monday. I definitely like this Brock, and I liked him on the McAfee show a lot. Like he showed a lot of personality.
Yeah,
that, like, they could have been doing stuff with for the last like 2 decades, and now like
it's like the same with Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. It's like they're finally tapping into the potential that they have.
Yeah. Roman, crazily enough, yeah, he's already been there for probably like 7-8 years. Brock, they've had for almost 20, which is crazy.
I know, that's insane.
Yeah, I know he's been like on and off there, but like,
but still,
yeah, it's the overall bigger problem of like, so I like that Brock is treated like such a big star because it's Brock Lesnar, and I'm a big fan of his, and I'm a big fan of his UFC career and all that stuff. Like it's, you know, I'm definitely a fan of Brock and what he does. I respect it a lot, but like they're killing any potential chance for anybody like a Rollins or an Owens or a Riddle or an Austin Theory or any of these guys, like anyone else in the chamber. Right. Brock just made it look like he literally just got in and just threw them all around, F5 them all. And then Austin Theory was the last one left with him. And he just, like, ran away from him for as long as he could. And then eventually got caught. You know, he just looked like a total coward.
Like, punched him in the dick and he got mad. And, like, that was it.
Yeah, me and Doug were talking about it on our show last night. And Doug, I thought, had a really good point. It should have come down to Brock and Riddle. And then have Riddle be like, all right, bro, like, and actually try to fight him. Like, even if Brock destroys him, like, have somebody man up
because they both have that history.
Right. And just to see someone man up to him. Like, because he's just, the only person who's really manning up to him is Lashley and Roman. And Lashley couldn't be in the match because we didn't know, but he was injured going into it. So, really, it's like Brock and Roman is, like, really, that's it. And then everyone else just... So to answer your question, Deshaun, it wasn't surprising that they did that because that's how they always treat Brock and how they treat everyone around him. Like, they're just lesser than he is. But, you know, it was just kind of super apparent in the chamber because it was him just beating up everybody else. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Deshaun, for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
For sure. And I will say this, too, on the point of Rollins and Owens. I like them a
Rollins and Owens?
Yeah, Rollins and Owens. They're tagging now.
Oh, okay, yeah. But his question was Styles. So
sorry, yeah. But I was just gonna bring up that Rollins and Owens as a tag team. I've liked what I've seen of them as a team. Like they had a really good match on Monday. That main event was them against RK Bro. I think it was. It was a really good match. So. The big rumor is that they're going to do Owens versus Austin at WrestleMania. I don't know. It feels like they're doing this tag team thing.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. Cool, Texas, cool. Dream match for Owens. Maybe he was like, I won't go to AEW if you give me my match with Stone Cold. And they were like, okay, we'll make it work. I don't know, but it's like it's one of those things where. And Will Washington brought this up, and this is a very, very good point. WWE has a nostalgia problem. They've built their brand on nostalgia. And Will Washington, all the credit to him for pointing this out to me. That's kind of how they are. They're stuck in nostalgia. Like, you go to a show and you see people in, like, Macho Man shirts or Hulkamania. You always got to get that. I mean, those, you know, like Stone Cold, The Rock. You know, it's a nostalgia based company right now, and that's their major problem. And I feel like, and this has to go along with Elimination Chamber too. I was very happy with the results of Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, but it's like, obviously now the match with him and Roman is title versus title, but then it's like, after that, who have they built up to be to that level?
No one. No
one credible. Like, sure, Cody, whatever, he could come in, but is it credible? I mean, if you watched AEW, yeah, but do you think that WWE is actually going to mention AEW and all the things he did there? I don't think so. You know, it's like, that's the problem I have. It's like, you're stuck on Roman or you're stuck on Brock as a legitimate champion. Or Bobby. I mean, Big E maybe, but it's like nothing to the level of Paul Heyman's wrestlers.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think the ship has sailed on Big E. You know, I don't think that it's not his fault. It's just
no.
I mean, that's the thing. The nostalgia problem is a trickle down effect from the not having stars problem. So like they're creating both of these problems simultaneously. Like because they don't have credible stars, they keep going back to nostalgia. And
exactly.
So
they did that here with Lita.
Yeah, for sure.
They did that with Goldberg, Rey Mysterio a little bit.
Oh yeah, they'll keep doing it. Like anytime they can get Cena or The Rock or Batista or anybody that like they perceive to be an actual star, Ronda Rousey. You know, and to be fair, these people are much bigger stars than the current like regular full-time WWE wrestlers. Like that is true. Like Brock and Ronda are still the most famous people they have access to by far. Like Brock, I can't stress it enough. It's hard to maybe understand if you're just in like the wrestling bubble, but Brock Lesnar is probably like legitimately like 1,000 times more famous than Roman Reigns is. Like, and Brock doesn't even like doing media and like movies and all this other stuff. Like Roman's,
he just big as fuck.
Yeah, he just big, and his UFC career helped a lot. And I mean the story with him and trying out for the Vikings and all that. So like he kind of bleeds into like the NFL world.
That's right.
And so there a lot of people know who Brock Lesnar is. Outside of wrestling fans, nobody knows who Roman Reigns is. And that's, once again, that's not Roman Reigns' fault. I'm not blaming Roman Reigns.
They should know who he is. They should acknowledge him, but it's a damn shame. The problem is they should have like 5 or 6 people right now minimum that are all the same level as Roman Reigns or close. And they have the right people that it could be. Like you have Finn Balor and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, and I mean you have all these guys that like are incredible wrestlers. So much potential.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro's great. I mean,
AJ Styles.
And shout out to AJ for getting another contract. Like I'm glad.
Right, cha-ching,
that
bro.
Dude worked his ass off for decades.
Dude, so
before getting this kind of money. So like honestly, I think AJ Styles is the best. It's arguable. I understand other people that would argue otherwise, but I think if I'm talking strictly the last 20 years of wrestling, I think AJ Styles is the best wrestler that to live over the last 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, there's a definite argument for that, for sure.
So,
without a doubt,
I'm happy to see him doing what he wants.
Me too. I'm happy to see him making money, providing for his fam.
Yeah, and they're building a little bit of a nice little nucleus there in the WWE. If they're gonna actually, like, now that like it's like they just re-signed Owens, they just re-signed AJ. Like I'm sure Rollins is probably in the same kind of boat. Like,
oh god, yeah.
And then there's others. I know they're building Braun Breaker right now in NXT, and like there's so it's like. And you have Roman, of course, and then you have Brock pretty often, and like, if you want to like actually do something with this group of people, and once again, this doesn't have to go into a whole other conversation about it, but like this is a big reason why they need to end the brand split, in my opinion. You need all these people on one show. Like, they all need to be interacting with one another and make the whole show stars. Like back in the day. Even if it was Val Venus versus D'Lo Brown for the European Championship, it felt like a bigger deal than almost anything you see on current day wrestling. Like, even the lower card people had stories that people cared about. And like, and so even, so I think they need to do what they can to just stack the shows. So, and then Cody being a part of that, I'm still not sold that Cody's going to the WWE though. I'm really not.
Me either, man. We could go on and on about that.
WWE's really trolling and trying to make it seem like he's heading there, but it's almost like too much, where it's like...
It's almost like too much, and then it's like, with being the elite and stuff. I don't know.
In Kenny's interview, he's like, I heard Cody's on a plane heading to Saudi Arabia.
Trolling?
And like...
I was like, bullshit.
Like, obviously he wasn't, because he wasn't on the show, so like...
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say it's like this
don't know what to think.
like mega work, but I think it might kind of be. Like I think it's very possible that Cody might just need some time off from wrestling.
He worked himself into a shoot, brother.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's like on top of being kind of broken down right now physically, maybe as a wrestler, because we saw it on Roads to the Top, him talking to Tony Khan over and over, like talking about like I might need a break and stuff. This might be the last one. He like teased retirement and all this stuff, and. Like, and on top of that, he has all the EVP responsibilities, and maybe he just needs like 3 or 6 months. And he's a kid.
He's got a baby at home.
As a kid, maybe just needs 3 or 6 months or something just to like unplug for a minute, and then when he goes back to AEW, he can turn heel and be like, "Y'all thought you could get rid of me? I'm never leaving." You know what I mean? Like,
right? Yeah, because if like creative control was a reason for him to leave, him going to WWE makes no sense.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, but like I said, if it's true and he gets $3 to $5 million a year for 5 years, I'd do it too, dude. I'd do anything for that much money, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him for that at all. Like,
yeah, but he said it's not about money, so I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's a very interesting situation, and you know what? He's getting his name talked about a lot.
Look at it this way. There are way more people talking about Cody Rhodes than Stone Cold Steve Austin right now. Like, Stone Cold Steve Austin might be coming back for the first time in 20 years.
He's, like, literally, like, going to come out of retirement.
Yeah. Biggest star
and
ever.
His broken, like, neck.
Yeah.
His neck that could, break at any time. And we're all talking about Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. I mean, he's the most talked about guy in wrestling. Whether people love him or hate him, like, that is... He's valuable. He is proving that. And also, this could very well be some type of negotiation tactic. I mean, like, we see Brock Lesnar. It happens every few years. Brock Lesnar completely gets out of his deal with the WWE. Like, his contract comes up, and he doesn't negotiate until he's a free agent. And he goes and talks to Dana White over in the UFC, and Dana gives him a big number to come back to fighting. And then Brock takes that number and goes back to Vince and goes, "Hey, beat this, and I'll stay here." And then Vince keeps doing that and keeps giving him more and more money because he doesn't want him to go anywhere else. With Cody, I think it's maybe possible that like him and Tony have not been able to reach a new deal, and then Tony like got to a position where like we have to make a statement about this because like we want to get out ahead of this in case he does show up in the WWE because he is actually a free agent. But then Cody can come back and be like, "Hey, now that like the word's out and like look how valuable I am. Like the money I'm asking for, it makes sense. Like look at what the entire wrestling world is talking about me right now.
Know your worth and show your worth." He's
and
doing
then
that.
do the storyline where he gets a world title match because he is not an AEW wrestler technically. That could be the loophole. He comes back, and if he's a heel, he should beat Hangman for the world title. I think.
Absolutely.
You need to just run with that. Run with Cody as the biggest heel in wrestling, the world champion of this company that he threatened to leave after he started it. And
I love it.
And then someone else will get a really, really big rub out of it. Like, that would be the only way, maybe, to turn MJF babyface for a minute, actually, too. Imagine if MJF had to be the one.
Those seeds have been planted as well.
Right. But imagine if the tables were turned where it's like,
oh my
Cody
God.
is such a villain that we have to turn to MJF because MJF is the only one who could get rid of this guy. God. Yeah, like...
Dude, man...
Such a good idea.
I hope he goes back.
But most likely he'll, I got the Stardust mask behind me here, so who knows?
I know, I noticed that. Who knows?
But yeah, as far as Elimination Chamber, the rest of it, I'll say I thought that Becky Lynch and Lita had a good match. I didn't like the finish because like Lita hit the Twist of Fate and the moonsault, hit all her stuff, and then Becky just like got up and hit a finisher, and that was it. But I thought the match itself was pretty good, especially because of how inactive Lita is.
Yeah, it was very well like executed, I guess you can say. Yeah,
it's a legitimate dream match. I mean, that's shout out to the Usos and the Viking Raiders who flew all the way to Saudi Arabia to not have a match.
Dude, jack shit.
I mean, wow. Mysterio and Miz was all right, pretty much what you'd expect out of those two.
Yeah, it was pretty much fan service. for Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, for sure. They love him.
And The Miz is so good at that. The Miz is so good at getting the babyface over.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but I thought Roman Reigns versus Goldberg was like
Put him out the pasture, boy.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And I think that was the end of Goldberg's.
No offense to Goldberg or anything, but like
I wouldn't be surprised if he was in AEW going forward. Goldberg.
No, God, no. Tony Khan, Mr. Khan, man. Ooh, that's weird. Ooh. No, Mr. Khan, sir, please, no.
I mean, I think there's a good chance he stays in WWE though if he wants to keep wrestling.
Please.
His contract is up, so like, I think.
Yes, I know that.
But the WWE has so much money right now that they're just throwing at people.
They're just pooping it out, man. They're shitting out $100 bills. They're pooping Benjamins right now.
But I thought the match itself was like pretty much exactly what it needed to be. It was 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
It was just, power moves, spamming finishers. Roman locked in the guillotine. Goldberg tried to escape for like a minute or so. He was like trying to actually get out of the move and like run Roman into the turnbuckles and stuff, and Roman didn't unlock the grip. And
6 minutes exactly.
Yeah, which is, I mean, for that kind of match,
right amount for Goldberg.
Yeah, and Roman won, which is the right idea. I mean,
right move.
Bianca winning the Elimination Chamber, I thought was really smart.
I was happy.
Yeah, she looked really good in there.
She did. You know what I really loved about the Women's Elimination Chamber? And this is like a 90s throwback for us ladies. If you've ever seen the movie Spice World.
Scary Spice.
They have it.
Scary Spice. I remember Scary Spice.
Well, the Spice Girls. Okay, so there's a movie called Spice World. And it was big. And so in the movie, they have a tour bus.
Right.
And they all have like little areas in the tour bus. Like Baby Spice has her area.
I was trying to remember their names. I remember Scary Spice. So you said Sporty Spice.
So Baby Spice had a swing. Just like Alexa Bliss did. I mean, it was so funny. I was like, oh my God, they did like the Spice Girls bus in Spice World. It's totally a throwback to that for that elimination. It was like so funny. Just all I could think of was spice up your life the entire time that match was going.
Oh my God. What was the other one? Was that?
I was thinking about that Spice Girls movie.
Posh Spice, right? Was the other one?
Posh Spice, Sporty Spice, Scary Spice, Baby Spice, and Ginger Spice.
Was it Ginger Spice? Was that her name?
She's the one that left.
Yeah, that's right. Was she the one who had the orange hair?
Flag. Yeah, well, she was.
No, I know, but like that was I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure I wasn't just putting that together because of that.
Yeah, she would wear like an American. She's a Great Britain, UK flag dress a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, they were so huge for a while. I used to have their CD with my boombox back in the day. Spice World.
I know. I was playing Spice Girls the other day for my daughter.
Great stuff.
Good stuff.
But yeah, and Bianca winning, I think, was the right idea. Her and Becky at WrestleMania is the right move. I was glad Alexa Bliss didn't win. I was really afraid they were going to go back to she was going to win because of voodoo or something.
Yeah, but she looked really good.
Oh, sure.
She did really. I mean, she didn't miss a beat. She walked in there and just started kicking ass. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, no, I agree. She looked great. I was just worried that they were gonna do some BS where like Bianca's like beating all these girls and Alexa.
And then Lily comes out and like winks or some bullshit.
Lily comes out and hits a Canadian Destroyer on Bianca Belair and And then, like, the Naomi, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, and Sonya match, like, it was what it was. I didn't think it was very good. Yeah. But I thought it was cool to see Ronda Rousey wearing her judo gi from the Olympics. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, and it made perfect sense because, like, the women have to cover up in Saudi Arabia. So, like, it was the perfect, reason to have her, like, have to wear something like that. I thought it was smart.
Yeah.
And even to the point where, like, she wasn't, like, wearing makeup either. Like, she looked, like, exactly like she did when she competed in the Olympics. Yeah. It's like, I like that. Honestly, I'd like to see... I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I don't want women to, like, try to look their best and all this. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, like, this is a fight at the end of the day.
It's a fight,
like,
yeah.
I kind of like the rawness of seeing Ronda just out there looking like she's competing in the Olympics. Like, this isn't, like, entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, this is a sport, you know? So...
Right. No, I get that.
It was just something different. It just kind of reminded me of like, hey, I kind of like to see some of this maybe a little more often, just personally. Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss got thrown on his head And
I
that dude, I remember him from NXT. He was like a jobber there for a long time. And
yeah.
then Raw
And then he was in Raw
Underground.
Underground.
Ever since Raw Underground, I've been saying this guy is actually badass. And
Yeah.
the Madcap Moss thing, I don't know what it means. I don't get the gimmick. But Riddick Moss, whatever his real name is, that guy, he could be a real star in the WWE. I think that guy's tough as hell, and he has a great look, and he's super athletic.
Yeah.
Like, and to sort,
He's super athletic. He's got the look. He's
he
got
does.
it.
And people from the Performance Center are always raving about like when he was there. His
Really?
like apparently like his like they do like combine type stuff. I saw Killer Cross say something to Sean on Twitter today about it too. I've heard other wrestlers talk about it as well. Where like when they do their combine type stuff where they're like, you know, tracking how fast they are, how high they can jump, all that. Apparently he just like blows everyone out of the water and like everything.
Really?
Yeah. So he's been like one of like the biggest hidden secrets in the company for a while. Plus he got thrown on his head and then had the rest of the match. I mean,
I know, he like legitimately could have just laid there.
And he took some big bumps after that. I mean, like,
yeah. After like almost dying.
Yeah, I mean, so huge props to Madcap Moss for the toughness.
Yeah, that was scary. That freaked me out.
And Sean was saying on Twitter today that apparently he's okay. Like, apparently there was just no injury. Like, he got super lucky. So
it's made of metal.
Yeah. And then
that's Vince's dream.
Speaking of metal, Drew McIntyre wielded his gigantic sword during the match.
Hey,
he right, his magnum-sized sword, and he was swinging it at people, which I respected. He actually swung
I've been
it,
saying,
but what was funny to me is I understand. Obviously, Drew McIntyre is gonna like cut somebody in half with this thing in real life. I totally get it, but he hit the Claymore kick while holding the sword, which like it looked kind of cool, but at the same time, I was like.
You have a fucking sword.
Like you're establishing.
You literally have a fucking sword.
Yeah, you're establishing that the Claymore kick is more effective than your gigantic sword. So why you even have the sword?
It's like you have a sword. If it means that much to you.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I'm not gonna make that joke. Never mind. But yeah. Yeah.
And.
I don't know what the hell they're doing, Drew McIntyre. Poor guy.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be him and Corbin or something at Mania. Like,
but
yeah,
I don't like the Happy Corbin gimmick. I miss the Lone Wolf. and sad Corbin. I like sad Corbin.
It's wild to see where Drew's at. Like, I mean, my brother literally. My brother's always giving wrestlers nicknames. I always talk about that. Like.
Didn't you call him COVID Champ?
Yeah,
or something?
COVID Champ. He still doesn't. He still only knows him as COVID Champ. But that's almost honestly more of like a respectful nickname because like he carried the company throughout. And my brother was so bummed out for him that like he won the title with no fans against Brock Lesnar, and then when the fans came back, he was like he lost the title to Lashley like right away. And my brother was like, "Dude, this guy got totally screwed over. Like I feel bad for this guy.
Totally screwed over." And they did that whole WWE Chronicle on him where he was overseas. He had to make it before the restrictions and all that. I was like, God, you feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah. He's got a super chat.
Eric Standable. Thank you so much. Love you too, my friend. I'm doing okay. I'm doing a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're taking the lipids out of my TPN, so it's one step in the right direction.
Sounds like a good thing.
Yes.
But yes, thank you, Eric, for the super chat. Very much
appreciate
Thank you. That. If anyone else has any last minute super chats, like we'll be on here for about another 5 minutes or so. So now would be the time to send those in. There's also I can never say this, a donation link in the description below. They work the same way. Me and Jessi split it, and we will still treat it like a super chat. I get the message onto my phone, and I think it pops up on here too still. And we'll make sure to answer your questions, read your statements. If you have any thoughts on Elimination Chamber, who should have won matches, who shouldn't have, and all that stuff, as we kind of wrap up here. We talked about Brock Lesnar a little bit in the Elimination Chamber match at the top of our show today. Yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot more I can probably add to that other than, like, you know, Brock was totally destructive. He was this main star of this thing by far. And I will say this. I get that Lashley couldn't wrestle because he has a shoulder injury, and like we just didn't know until like the reports came out after this. But I'm not gonna lie, like that's a pretty weak way to take him off TV for as long as he's gonna be out, because like he barely got hit with anything.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, it's a tough spot because it's like you don't want to actually like aggravate his injury more,
Sure.
you know? But it's like, I don't know. They could have done it better.
I honestly wish, and I generally don't like this idea because like we have seen it happen in the past with guys like CM Punk and stuff. I almost wish that like in hindsight, if that's all Lashley was able to do in the chamber match, they should have just done something like backstage where like they find him backstage just completely beaten up, and then it's just like he can't compete kind of thing, and then
or just have him relinquish the title.
Just be like, I'm hurt. Like
be like, I'm hurt. I can't compete. I have to relinquish my title. I'll be back.
Yeah, that would actually have been even better to just come out and say he was hurt and then be like, you know, I'm coming for whoever has this title when I come back, you know, and just like leave it like that. Like I never lost this belt.
Instead of saying he has a concussion and he's going to be out for 1,000 years, you know?
Yeah, which is also strange that they're trying to like make you think he's going to wrestle Brock on this house show, like like this weekend, I think,
at Madison Square Garden.
But just because they're not selling tickets, like, or they're trying to sell tickets, but no one's buying them. Yeah,
because it's right before Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Everyone's gonna be in Orlando, including me.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
But so yeah, I felt bad for Lashley, you know, for sure. But I think at the end of the day, Brock was going to win the title back on the show either way. So it's probably a better thing that it worked out like this for Lashley anyways, because at least now when he comes back, maybe he's going to get a shot at Brock or get a shot at Roman or whoever the champion is, because he never lost his title. Otherwise, I think he would have gotten F5 by Brock and pinned 1, 2, 3. So yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it was all right. It was an all right show. Weird. It made me feel weird. It was like at noon. It was like, what?
Noon in Saudi Arabia.
What? It was in Saudi Arabia. Everyone looked like they were having a lot of fun, though, so that was nice.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the fans...
It was nice to see, like, a crowd, like, having a real good time, so...
Yeah, and the other thing, you know, I say this often, and I've been watching a little more WWE lately than I have been, because the show I do on Fightful with Jeremy, we have a WWE category, so I have to be a little more on the loop right now. But I would really recommend to any WWE fans that like are down on the product or like really don't even like the pay-per-views anymore, like if you've been watching Elimination Chamber or like Royal Rumble and stuff and you really didn't like the show, I thought both shows were pretty... I mean, I actually thought the Royal Rumble was a pretty good show, and I thought Elimination Chamber was like... It was okay. It wasn't bad. I think it was worth watching.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible.
And I think a big reason why I'm able to say that and have that mindset is because I watch the company once a month. Really, I mean, it's like I'd recommend people do that just because I think people get so
they are so good at recapping everything. You really don't have to watch
exactly, and that's all Raw. And I can't speak to SmackDown as much because I haven't seen that in years. But I know like Raw especially. All they're doing, it feels like, is just doing things on Raw so they can put the video package together for the pay-per-view.
Right. You know what? That's a good observation. It does kind of feel like
every now and then you get a good match. Like I said, this past Monday, RK Bro versus Rollins and Owens, I thought was a really good match.
That was fire, yeah.
And then also, like, Edge cut a good promo, and it looks like it's going to be him and AJ at WrestleMania, which is awesome. I'm all about that.
That's awesome.
I think the WrestleMania cards... I think the WrestleMania cards are going to both be really good. But I would recommend maybe do that if you're a fan that's like burned out on WWE or you're like really angry about the product.
That's a good idea.
Just watch the pay-per-views for a little while because that's part of it too. When you watch Raw, like they're piping in all this fake crowd noise and like everything's just so repetitive and formulaic and just isn't a good show, and it's 3 hours long. It's too long. And if you also watch SmackDown, they're talking about 5 hours of just not good shows that are like the same thing over and over. Then you watch the pay-per-view and you feel like you're just watching Raw again, and it's like, well, if you just watch the pay-per-view, you're talking like 3 hours of a month of the product,
Yeah.
and you'll probably like it a lot more. At least that's how it's worked for me. So
Yeah, because you're not as invested in it, you're not as disappointed at the results.
yeah, and the funny thing is, I'm doing better than ever at Wrestle Rumble right now. Like just.
I know, I saw that. I saw you were in the top 10.
Yeah, and I was tied with people too. I technically got like 5th.
I know. I even placed. I was like, what? I never played. I was like 50, but still.
Yeah, the last few shows, I've been killing it on my predictions, and it's like, you don't even have to watch. I watched the WWE for like 30 years. Like on like a. I'm not saying this to be rude or any. I generally mean this. I've been watching WWE for like 3 decades at like an autistic level, like ultra hyper focused on this company. Put it above everything.
You tend to overthink.
Yeah, put it above everything. Put it above relationships. Put it above everything. Like WWE was all I cared about for so long that like I don't even have to watch the show to have a pretty good idea of like what they're doing and where they're going with stuff, because like it's been the same guy running the show the entire time I've been alive, and like it's kind of it just is what it is, Yeah. But it's also not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's like that's what I like about AEW so much, is a lot of their stuff is predictable, but like it's good stories and great matches. So,
good stories, good payoff.
Exactly. And I think Brock versus Roman's going to be really good at WrestleMania.
Yes, that's going to be real good.
Yep. So we'll talk next week, maybe a bit more about the build-up to all this stuff, and as we get closer to WrestleMania and title versus title and all that. I'll just give a quick shout-out because I know we got to wrap up fast. Shout out to WrestleRumble.com. Make sure to go to the website, WrestleRumble.com. Get in on their Pick'em contest. I think they're doing a contest for Revolution, so stay tuned for that. We'll give away an entry here if they are doing that. Shout out to, and make sure to follow them on all social media at WrestleRumble. Shout out to Music City Toys and Collectibles. Good people, fair prices. Anything you want in the world of pro wrestling, they got it. Magazines, DVDs, autographs, 8x10s, anything you think of. Check it out. They have a retail location at 101 West Main Street in Watertown, Tennessee, and their website is musiccitytoys.biz, so check them out. Shout out to Music City Toys and Collectibles. Shout out to my brother, Brian Jensen. Follow him on Instagram at BoxingATL, BOXINGATL. He can help you with a wide range of stuff from self-defense all the way through competing at a professional level in any kind of combat sport, all the way through any kind of neurological issue you have, where you can help you with dexterity work and flexibility and all that stuff too. He's certified across the board in so many different things. Helps people of all sizes and abilities and all over the place. He can help you with your individual particular needs. So once again, follow him on Instagram at BoxingATL. Shoot him a DM. That's the best way to get in touch with him. He can meet you in Atlanta, Georgia, or he can help you remotely online anywhere else in the world. So that's everything I got. You can follow me on Twitter at @FightTalk_.
Yeah, follow me too. Use the tip jar.
Tip jar.
On Twitter.
Yes.
Tip jar. Yes. There's a tip jar. Use it, please. Yeah, that's all.
That's all for today. Yeah, we got to wrap up.
That's all for today.
See y'all. Have a good one. We'll hopefully be back sometime next week.
Have a good one. Subscribe,
like, yeah, all that good stuff.
Comment.
We'll keep you updated.